My best friend, Sophia, spent 6 months abroad training as a magician, and when she came back, she was a huge deal. To make more money, she loved to pull extreme stunts at every live show. At first, I begged her to be careful, but she just brushed me off and got even more reckless. That's when I started to realize something was wrong. She'd be on stage doing a chain escape act, and my shoulder would pop out of its socket for no reason. She'd be locked in a water tank for an escape stunt, and I'd be at the dinner table, my chest seizing up as I coughed up water. The worst time was when she performed for an audience, swallowing razor blades. My esophagus was shredded by something sharp, rotting all the way down to my stomach. Lying in the hospital bed, I cried, begging my husband, who was her assistant, for help. But he just tried to calm me down. Leah, Sophia went to study stage magic, not black magic. You're pregnant, you need to be more careful. What does her act have to do with you? Just stay home and focus on the baby. I sat there stunned, wondering if he was right. Was this just prenatal depression? Then came her national tour. The grand finale was the sawing a person in half trick. 6 long blades plunged into the box she was in. She emerged without a scratch. But at home, I was stabbed through my pregnant belly, killing me and my unborn child. The next time I opened my eyes, I was back on the day of her first show after coming home. An agonizing pain shot through every part of my body. I instinctively reached for my 8-month belly, but it was flat. I looked down. No blood, no baby bump. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the master magician, Sophia, for her first performance back in the States. The host's booming voice on stage snapped me back to reality. I was reborn. Back to the day of Sophia's big return show. My baby was only 3 months along in my womb. There was still time to fix everything. In my past life, I was at home, tidying up while cradling my belly, when I stumbled upon a photo of my best friend and my husband together. Before I could even get a good look, I was stabbed to death. In the photo, they were naked, tangled in a suggestive pose. I never even got a chance to confirm if it was really them. This time, I had to get home immediately and see what that picture was all about. Before Sophia even took the stage, I grabbed my bag and tried to leave from backstage. But Kevin stopped me. Leah, where are you going? Sophia's about to go on. He was frowning, clearly annoyed that I was trying to leave. Sensing he was being harsh, Kevin quickly softened his expression and put a hand on my arm. Honey, Sophia's your best friend. She worked so hard studying abroad all this time. You have to be here for her first show back. Aren't you happy for her? I stared at his face. He seemed even more excited about my best friend's performance than I was. Ouch, that hurts, I said, clutching my stomach and faking a pained expression. This was just 2 weeks after I found out I was pregnant, and Kevin was still over the moon about becoming a dad, treating me like I was made of glass. Are you okay, honey? Do you think the baby kicked you? I playfully tapped his chest. Silly, what are you talking about? The baby is only 3 months old, it doesn't even have feet yet. Kevin laughed, grabbing my fist and pulling me closer. But I used the momentum to push away, stepping back and holding my stomach. I think I ate something bad for lunch. I need to find a restroom, fast. I'll go with you, he said, starting to put his arm around me to lead me out. Just then, Sophia's sweet voice called from behind us, Kevin, get ready. It's almost showtime. Kevin froze. He took 1 step, then dropped his arm from around me, looking apologetic. Leah, I have to go on stage. You go on your own. I forced a smile and waved. Go on, I'll be right back to watch. Break a leg. Sophia ran over and grabbed my hand. Leah, this is my first show back home. Having you here makes me feel so much better. I scoffed internally. You feel better, sure. All the knives are sticking in me. Just wait until I figure out what you've done. That'll be the day you die. I have to avenge my own death, and the death of my unborn child. As soon as I left the backstage area, I hailed a cab and rushed home. Following my memory, I found the hidden compartment under the bed I shared with my husband. I opened it, and there was the photo. Next to it were a dozen gushing love letters. And the 2 bodies intertwined in the picture were, without a doubt, Sophia and Kevin. The searing pain of being stabbed through the gut washed over me again. My heart felt like it was being ripped to shreds. I clutched my chest and sank to the floor. The photo slipped from my hand and landed face down. On the back, a line of small, handwritten words. The love of my life, forever in my heart. I recognized Kevin's handwriting instantly, that strong, elegant cursive. It was the same script he used to write me love letters when he was courting me. The date was November 2023, just 3 months after Kevin and I got married. During our honeymoon phase, he was sleeping with my best friend and calling her the love of his life. A wave of nausea hit me. I covered my mouth, dry heaving. I couldn't tell if it was morning sickness or just pure disgust. With trembling hands, I picked up a few of the letters. Some were familiar, others I'd never seen before. The familiar ones were word-for-word copies of letters Kevin had written to me. But based on the dates, he wrote them to Sophia first, then just copied them for me. Once the reality sank in, I put everything back where I found it, making it look untouched. Then I ran out the door and jumped in a cab to the hospital. At that exact moment, Sophia's magic show was starting. Driver, get me to the State Women's Hospital, fast. Before the driver could even hit the gas, a sharp pain shot through my shoulder, and blood started to seep through my shirt. I knew what it was. Sophia and Kevin were doing the blindfolded knife-throwing act. In my last life, no matter how wild Kevin's throws were, Sophia always walked off stage unharmed. He even bragged to me about it multiple times. Honey, I'm a natural magician. Sophia and I are the perfect partners. More cuts appeared on my body. The driver was so freaked out he floored it, hitting 120 miles per hour. Miss, are you okay? This looks really bad. I pressed a tissue to the deepest cut and said weakly, I'm fine. Sir, could you please go a little faster? Luckily, the act only involved 3 knives, so none of them hit a vital organ. I got out of the car covered in blood and gave the driver an extra $200 for the cleanup. I burst into the hospital lobby, screaming for a doctor. On the TV in the waiting room, Sophia's debut show was being broadcast live. After getting my cuts cleaned and bandaged in the ER, I scheduled an abortion. That bastard Kevin didn't deserve to have a child with me. His child had already been killed in my past life by his own 6 blades. As the anesthesia took effect and I lay on the operating table, Sophia was getting ready for her underwater escape act. Right in the middle of the procedure, I started convulsing and spitting up water. The doctor was terrified and stopped immediately. I gasped for air, trying to reassure him. It's okay, doctor. Please continue. Cough, cough. Water poured from my mouth and nose. This was the second time I had experienced the feeling of nearly drowning. The doctor had never seen anything like it, but I insisted, so he had no choice but to finish the surgery. Half an hour later, it was over. I was lying weakly in the recovery room. The young nurses came in to check on me, chattering excitedly about Sophia's magic show. That underwater escape by Sophia was incredible. Yeah, she was stuck in that tank for 5 minutes and came out perfectly fine. You can tell she trained abroad. She was so calm, like a mermaid, even when she dropped the key and had to pick it up. I clenched my fists, swearing to myself that no matter what evil tricks she was using, I wouldn't let her hurt me again. Suddenly my phone rang. It was Kevin. I immediately declined the call and sent him a text. Hey honey, work just sent me on a last-minute business trip. I'll be gone for a few days. Worried he might suspect something, I added another message. Love you, miss me and the baby. And tell Sophia congrats on a successful show. Then I booked a flight. I had to find out where Sophia really learned her magic. After some digging, I found out she hadn't been in the UK for the past 6 months at all. She'd been in Southeast Asia, in a country notorious for its black magic. I took a connecting flight there. The moment I landed, I saw an old woman collapse. She was dressed in rags, clutching a tattered bag. I gave her some water and fanned her until she came to. Just as I was about to leave, she grabbed my arm. Don't go, little girl. Fate brought us together. I can help you. Before I could reply, she snatched the golden Gourd pendant from my neck and broke the chain. Hey, what are you? I started to scold her, frowning. But then I saw her twist the gourd open. Kevin had given me that pendant for our wedding anniversary this year. I had no idea it could even open. The old woman pulled out a tiny folded piece of paper. It was a talisman. She clicked her tongue and shook her head. Child, you've been cursed. I was in a daze that whole afternoon, still reeling by the time I was on the flight home. The old woman's words echoed in my head. Cursed. If Sophia was the one who cursed me, the gourd was a gift from Kevin. Could it be that he knew all along that Sophia was using a curse to transfer her injuries to me? As if in a trance, I went back to our house, only to find Kevin and Sophia in the bathroom, wrapped in each other's arms, panting. Sophia was wearing the custom-tailored shirt I'd given Kevin for our anniversary. They were clearly shocked to see me. Kevin quickly straightened his clothes and came out to hug me, making excuses. Leah, Sophia got hurt during her show today. I was just helping her with the wound. I glanced over. There was a small cut on Sophia's collarbone that was already almost healed. Suddenly, Kevin grabbed my wrist, his eyes wide with fury. Leah, where's the golden gourd I gave you? Why did you take it off? No wonder Sophia got hurt. His grip was so tight it felt like he was crushing my bones. Tears welled up in my eyes. Realizing he'd lost his temper, he quickly let go and tried to soothe me. Honey, that's not what I meant. I just meant that necklace is a symbol of our love. You can't just take it off. At that moment, I was certain. He knew about the talisman hidden inside the gourd. I pulled the broken pendant out of my bag, my face blank. The chain broke. I can't wear it. The next second, Sophia took the gold chain from her own neck and handed it to me. That's such a shame, Leah. Here, use my chain. After all, it's your anniversary gift from Kevin. He'd be upset if you didn't wear it. Before I could object, Sophia took the gourd and started threading her chain through it. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw her and Kevin whispering to each other in the mirror's reflection. They twisted the gourd open to make sure the talisman was still inside, then acted as if nothing had happened. Here, honey. See how generous Sophia is? Giving you her own chain just like that. A friend like her is hard to find. I watched as Kevin fastened the nearly identical gold chain around my neck. It was hard not to suspect that he had bought two of them from the start, one for me, and one for Sophia. Tired of their games, I went straight to our bedroom. I carefully collected a long strand of hair from the bed that wasn't mine. Soon, it was time for Sophia's next live performance. By now, her fame had exploded. Fans were traveling from all over the country just to see her. She had been hyping it up online for days. Tonight, she was going to perform her incredibly difficult grand finale, sawing a person in half. The buzz and massive marketing campaign had worked. The theater was packed with magic enthusiasts, all waiting to see her world-class show. I've been a magician for over a decade, and I've never seen a performance as flawless as Sophia's. She's a genius. I have to talk to her after the show and pick her brain. The praise from other professional magicians was endless. In just 1 month, Sophia had become a legend in the magic community. I sat in the front row, clutching my phone. I'd sent that strand of Sophia's hair to the old woman, but days had passed with no word from her. Did I get scammed? I took a deep breath, telling myself not to overthink it. I'd already died once. If worse comes to worst, I'll just take this cheating pair down with me. Cold sweat soaked my back, and I couldn't stop trembling. The show was starting in 10 minutes, and Sophia's warm-up act for today was swallowing razor blades. I kept glancing at my phone as the minutes ticked by. Sophia and Kevin walked onto the stage to greet the audience, who erupted in cheers. Sophia is the goddess of magic, a legend in the making, a rising star. Your act is flawless. I love you. It took a full 3 minutes for the applause to die down. Sophia smiled gracefully and waved. Thank you, everyone. Please settle down. I'm so grateful you all came to my show tonight. She deliberately spoke in a cute, breathy voice, and I could practically see the men in the audience melting. Kevin up on stage was melting too. To thank you all for your amazing support, I'm going to open with one of my signature tricks, swallowing razor blades. Before she could finish, an excited fan in the audience shouted it for her. Sophia beamed and took a tray of razor blades from Kevin. There were 18 of them. She and Kevin exchanged a look, and then they both turned to stare directly at me. A feeling of suffocation crept over me. Were they planning to kill me right here and now? But if I died, how could Sophia perform the sawing in half trick? Sophia's sickly sweet voice filled the air again. Just kidding, everyone. I can't possibly swallow 18. I'm only going to swallow 3 tonight. Without another word, She picked up a razor blade and swallowed it whole, without even chewing. The sharp pain of a blade slicing my throat hit me. I clutched my neck, unable to speak. My phone rang. It was the old woman. I quickly answered, but at the same time, a blood-curdling scream echoed from the stage. Ah! Sophia was on stage, smiling beautifully at the audience as she swallowed the razor blades. But the pain in my own throat lasted for only a second before vanishing. I answered the old woman's call. Her aged voice came through the line. Leah, my dear, I apologize for the delay. This curse was a tricky one to break. As you asked, I used your husband's hair first, then the other woman's. Was it in time? A small smile played on my lips. Perfect timing. Everything is just right. Thank you so much. After hanging up, I stared at the two of them on stage with a cold smirk. Kevin was clutching his throat. His face contorted in pain as blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Ah. Stop. Don't eat anymore. He stumbled forward and pushed Sophia away just as she was about to swallow the second blade. Sophia, startled, quickly steadied him. Kevin, what's wrong with you? The audience craned their necks, buzzing with confusion. What's going on? An accident? Why is an assistant running on stage? Sophia was doing great. What's he doing? Holy crap, that guy's spitting up blood. Sure enough, when Kevin opened his mouth, it was full of blood. He clutched his throat in agony. Sophia, my throat, it feels like it's been cut by a razor blade. Sophia was horrified. How is that possible? They both looked down at me in the audience. Luckily, I was prepared. I pressed a handkerchief to my mouth, coughing, looking even more pained than Kevin. The handkerchief was stained with blood. I put on a look of terror. Feigning concern, I rushed to the edge of the stage. Honey, I'm coughing up blood too. What's happening to me? I grabbed Sophia's ankle. Sophia, maybe you should stop the show. We need to get to a hospital. I'm pregnant. The moment I mentioned the baby, both Kevin and Sophia's faces darkened. They quickly went backstage and whispered for a moment. What happened? Was it really an accident? It must have been. Didn't you see Leah was coughing up blood too? Maybe you ate something bad. Kevin clutched his stomach. Sophia, it hurt so bad. Maybe we should cancel the show for today. No way. There are so many people here. I've hyped this up everywhere. Besides, I'm not hurt. Nothing went wrong on my end. Why would I stop? You already sold so many tickets in advance. Are you going to pay for all the refunds? Sophia's voice was no longer sweet and breathy. Her harsh tone made Kevin flinch. I saw Kevin wipe his mouth with his sleeve. I'm fine. I'll take some painkillers. As long as we get through tonight's show, we can finally be together. Ha, dreaming of being together? In your dreams. I smirked and sat back down in the front row, ready for the main event. The curtains opened again. Sophia, back to her sweet self, apologized to the audience. I'm so sorry, everyone. My assistant had a minor issue, but it won't affect our performance. And now for my grand finale, sawing a person in half. Instantly, the audience pulled out their phones, aiming them at the stage. Every magic enthusiast wanted to record this flawless performance. Sophia gracefully stepped into the box, even wiggling her feet to the rhythm of the music. Kevin walked over to the box, holding 6 sharp blades. Just as he picked up the first blade to plunge it into the box, I stood up, raised my hand, and shouted, "Wait." Everyone turned to look at me. Kevin and Sophia shot me looks of pure annoyance. Honey, we're in the middle of a show. You can't just interrupt like this. Yeah, Leah, this is being broadcast live nationwide. As they spoke, the audience started murmuring with displeasure. I waved my hand, feigning innocence. I'm just trying to help you guys out. All these fans came from so far to see you. Other magicians let the audience inspect their props. With a trick this amazing, you don't want people claiming it's fake later, do you? Hearing this, the audience members nodded in agreement. Sophia just scoffed. My props are all 100% real. Anyone who doesn't believe me is welcome to come up and check. Seeing how smug she was, I laughed to myself. Of course, I knew her props were real. Not just real, they weren't even props. They were solid, sharpened blades and a wooden box with no hidden compartments. After all, I was the one killed by that very blade in my past life. The reason I was doing this was to leave them with absolutely no way out. An excited fan jumped onto the stage and inspected all the props. No problems here. Everything is made of real materials. Even the knives have been sharpened. They're incredibly sharp. The fan shouted to the audience below. Sophia shot me a look. All right, since there are no objections, I'm going to begin my performance. Let's not let irrelevant people spoil the fun for the audience. With that, she lay back down in the wooden box, and Kevin closed the lid. He forcefully plunged the first blade in, its tip poking out from the bottom of the box. Nothing happened to Sophia, because that blade passed through the gap by her arm. It created the illusion of passing through her body. The second blade was the same. As Kevin picked up the third blade, he shot me a meaningful look. Even though I knew I couldn't be harmed anymore, a cold sweat broke out on my skin. That man with murder in his eyes was the husband I had loved for 3 years. Kevin gritted his teeth, shut his eyes, and plunged the third blade straight through the box and into Sophia's stomach. Aha! A scream erupted from inside the box. Soon, blood began to seep out from the container. The entire audience was in shock. Kevin froze. The sound of desperate pleas and banging came from inside the box. Kevin! Get me out of here! Help me, please help me! Sophia's weak voice drifted out from the box. Hearing her cries, Kevin started to open the box, but then he stopped. The blade was currently piercing through the entire box and Sophia's abdomen. To open the lid, he would have to pull the blade out. He couldn't bear to put Sophia through that secondary trauma. The audience was in a complete uproar. The live performance was being broadcast across the country. Everyone now knew that this rising star of the magic world had a major accident during her show. Sophia was bleeding profusely inside the box, constantly banging on the wood. The oxygen inside the sealed box was also slowly running out. Hurry, save me. I pretended to be anxious and shouted. Honey, use another knife to chop the box open and get Sophia out. I've already called an ambulance. Kevin didn't have time to think. He grabbed another blade and started hacking at the wood. Anyone who's been stabbed knows. When a knife is piercing your stomach, even the slightest external force causes excruciating, drilling pain. And he was hacking at a piece of wood connected to that very wound. Every time Kevin chopped, Sophia screamed, until her cries grew weaker and the wood still hadn't broken. Just as Sophia passed out from the pain, the paramedics arrived. Even though the live broadcast had been cut, a swarm of die-hard fans followed them all the way to the hospital, phones in hand. Some of them were even well-known streamers in the magic community. In an instant, their live streams were flooded with viewers. WTF, did Sophia just have a massive fail? No way, it's gotta be for show, right? Is this one of those hidden camera prank shows? I heard this Sophia trained abroad. Is she a fake? Don't start rumors. I stand by Sophia. Her magic is always flawless. An hour later, Sophia was wheeled out of the operating room. Kevin rushed forward, his face full of concern. Sophia, how are you? Are you okay? The doctor blocked Kevin. Sir, please step aside. The patient needs to rest. As Sophia regained consciousness, she clutched Kevin's hand, repeating herself over and over. Kevin, I was stabbed. How is that possible? How could that happen? Could it be that it stopped working? Sophia said with a look of disbelief. They both turned to look at me, standing off to the side, enjoying the show. I quickly put on a worried expression and rushed over to take Sophia's hand. Sophia, you scared me to death. Thank goodness I called an ambulance for you. Look at you. Why aren't you more careful when performing such a dangerous trick? Kevin's eyes widened, and he grabbed the pendant around my neck. Just as he was about to speak, a mob of people with phones shoved their way forward. The streamers and fans bombarded them with questions. Mr. Chun, as her assistant, you allowed such a major accident to happen. Will you be taking full responsibility? You injured Sophia. If she suffers permanent damage, have you considered how you'll compensate her? A member of the audience inspected the props and confirmed the knife was sharpened. Did you intentionally stab Sophia? Is this considered assault or attempted murder? Their questions grew more and more outrageous. Kevin was so flustered he didn't know what to say. Finally, Sophia couldn't take it anymore. She let out a piercing scream. Shut up, all of you. What are you yelling about? Don't you know this is a hospital room? Get out. All of you. The fans were stunned by her outburst. Was this really the enchanting goddess of magic they idolized? Her sweet, breathy voice was gone, replaced by a hysterical shriek. Sophia realized she'd lost her composure. She quickly leaned back against the bed, clutching her wound weakly. It hurts so much. I'm in so much pain. It must have been her. It has nothing to do with Kevin. Everyone followed her pointed finger and turned to look at me. They were all confused. Who is she? Isn't that the one who asked to inspect the props? She called the ambulance. There's no way she'd want to hurt Sophia, right? I think she's the assistant's wife. While everyone's attention was on me, Sophia gave Kevin a look. Kevin immediately stepped forward, grabbed my shoulders and demanded, "Leah, Sophia is your best friend. How could you hurt her like this? I know you're pregnant and your hormones are all over the place, that you're always paranoid, but you shouldn't have hurt your best friend." If I didn't know what game they were playing, I would have been completely baffled. I looked up with innocent eyes, clutching my stomach. Honey, what are you talking about? When did I ever hurt her? Kevin once again grabbed the golden gourd pendant on my neck. Suddenly, a stern, powerful voice came from behind the crowd. We received a report of a suspected attempted murder. Who made the call? Kevin flinched and quickly stepped forward to block the police officers. Officers, we didn't call the police. There must be some mistake. On the hospital bed, Sophia shot Kevin a look, silently telling him to shut up. The fans holding cameras and mics didn't care. They all started talking over each other to the police. They just said this woman intentionally hurt them. Yeah, you have to investigate this thoroughly. We can't let the person who hurt Master Sophia get away with it. Justice for our goddess. Make her pay for what she did. The officer frowned at Kevin and Sophia, his voice stern. What exactly is going on here? Kevin panicked. Officer, it's my wife. She misunderstood my relationship with her best friend, and during our magic show, she used some kind of trick. As Kevin spoke with urgent sincerity, the officer's frown deepened. You're saying that when the knife went in, Sophia wasn't supposed to get hurt? And the fact that she's injured now is your wife's doing? The room fell silent. Even the live stream comments stopped scrolling. Kevin nodded. Yes, that's right. It must be her. The officer looked serious. Do you have any proof of these claims? Hearing this, Kevin got excited and pointed at my neck. The proof is in the gourd pendant around her neck. There's a talisman inside. It has to be some kind of evil black magic. He violently ripped the gold chain from my neck and in front of everyone, opened the gourd. Inside, there was indeed a yellowed piece of paper. The live stream comments went wild again. For real? What a vicious woman. Asian black magic. This woman actually tried to harm Sophia. Dude, are you guys serious? Getting stabbed by a knife is supposed to hurt. Not getting hurt would be the black magic, right? Suddenly, Kevin coughed up a mouthful of blood and the golden gourd fell to the floor. I almost forgot, his esophagus was still injured. He clutched his stomach and collapsed, startling the police. A few doctors rushed in and frantically carried him to an operating room. He was out half an hour later. With tears in his eyes, Kevin pleaded with the police. Officer, I never thought my own wife would try to harm us. Look at my injury. I don't know what kind of black magic she used, but Sophia swallowed the razor blades, and I'm the one who got hurt. You have to get to the bottom of this. The officer used a tissue to pick up the pendant from the floor. So you're saying this piece of paper is black magic? Kevin and Sophia nodded eagerly, playing the victims. A short while later, the police brought in the props from their magic show, the razor blades and the 6 sharp knives. After a careful inspection, the officer finally spoke. Who was in charge of preparing the props for your magic show? Kevin answered weakly, I was, officer. And you used real knives? The officer's brow furrowed. Sophia said smugly, of course. My magic is different from others. It relies on being real, not on tricks and fakes. I stepped forward and whispered something to the officer. Immediately, he took out a pair of handcuffs and cuffed both of them. They instantly panicked. Officer, you've got the wrong person. Arrest her. She's the real culprit. She's the one who assaulted us. I let out a cold laugh and slapped them both across the face. Do you really think the police are idiots? The live stream comments were scrolling like crazy. Not a single person streaming the event was willing to leave. What's happening? Another plot twist? You guys are hilarious. Sophia uses real knives and weapons in her magic show. How could she possibly come out unscathed? Wait, what? Were we all scammed? Let the woman Leah speak. I need to see how this ends. Kevin and Sophia, their faces red with my handprints, looked guilty and wouldn't meet my eyes. Sophia clutched her cheek and forced her voice into a whimper. Leah, you and I are best friends. If you have a problem, you can just tell me. Trying to kill me is wrong. If you admit you were wrong, I can still forgive you. I scoffed. Forgive me? How about you forgive Kevin? You two keep saying this gold pendant has a black magic talisman in it. So how did Kevin know it was there? Kevin immediately retorted, I'm your husband. Of course I knew. You've hated Sophia for a long time because she learned magic and got famous. You're jealous of her. I tried to talk to you, but you wouldn't listen. How could I have such a vicious wife? Looking at his stupid act, I honestly wondered what I ever saw in him. And you, Kevin? If you knew this thing was harmful all along, why didn't you get rid of it? Why didn't you just rip it off and throw it away or burn it, like you just did? Kevin was speechless. Of course. Why wouldn't he throw away something he knew was harmful? Because it was harming me. And I deserved to die, right? I tried to stay calm and address the police. Officer, first of all, I don't believe in things like black magic. Second, I had no idea there was anything inside my pendant. The pendant was a gift from Kevin. I've never seen what's inside it. Hearing my calm rebuttal, Kevin became frantic. You're lying. It was you. Me coughing up blood and Sophia getting stabbed, it was all you. Originally, all of that was supposed to be smack. Sophia slapped Kevin across the mouth. He winced and shut up. The idiot almost let the truth slip. I stared at them and shook my head. A moron and a manipulator. A match made in heaven. Officer, please have this talisman checked for fingerprints. That should clear everything up. The officer nodded and handed the golden gourd and the paper inside to his colleague. Seeing that their story was about to fall apart, Sophia changed her tune. Leah, you must have swapped out my magic props. We prepared fake props for the performance. You were backstage today. You're the one who's trying to kill us. I cleaned out my ear. Her high-pitched voice was giving me a headache. Sophia, you're my best friend. Kevin is my husband. Why would I want to harm you too? Playing the innocent victim? Anyone can do that. The real fun is getting you to spill the truth bit by bit. Hearing this, Sophia's eyes darted around. You're jealous of how close we are. We got close because of work, and you couldn't stand it. I nodded and pulled out my phone for everyone to see. So close. You mean this close? The picture on my phone was the one I took at home, of them, naked and tangled together. The crowd gasped. The live stream chat exploded. Damn. Cheaters. No wonder the wife wanted to kill them. If it were me, I'd have skinned them alive. What? I don't believe it. My goddess would never do something like that. It's photoshopped. It has to be fake. I calmly continued. And you said I swapped your props. Didn't you have the audience inspect them before the show? You're the one who announced to the entire country that you use real knives for your performance. Now you're saying I'm the one who set you up? Sophia's face was greener than if she'd eaten a bucket of limes. She was about to start screaming curses. Just then, the junior officer returned with the fingerprint analysis. We got it. There are 3 sets of prints on the talisman. Kevin's, Sophia's, and 1 set that's not in the database. The only prints not on it are Leah's. The lead officer took the report and reviewed it carefully. I figured the unidentified prints must belong to the black magic master Sophia, found in Southeast Asia. But it didn't matter. It had nothing to do with me. I spoke seriously to the officer. Officer, I would now like to, on behalf of my husband, Kevin, press charges against Ms. Sophia for assault. I don't care how she managed to make him cough up blood after she swallowed razor blades, but this is a workplace injury, and Sophia is fully responsible. Kevin panicked. Leah, what are you talking about? It was obviously your fault. The officer stepped between us. Mr. Chen, All the evidence indicates that Ms. Leah is not involved in this matter. If you continue to make slanderous statements, she has the right to sue you. I didn't have any evidence that they used black magic to hurt me, but they had no way to prove that I broke the curse and turned it back on them. Faced with my accusation, Kevin clenched his fists. Then let's get a divorce. Then you won't have the right to press charges against Sophia on my behalf. I couldn't help but laugh. So Kevin did have a brain after all. Too bad he played right into my hands. Fine. Divorce. But you cheated during the marriage, so you leave with nothing. I slapped the photos and love letters down on the table. Kevin's whole body trembled. What are you shaking for? Make a choice. Either stay married and let Sophia compensate you for a few $100,000, or get a divorce and walk away with nothing. I crossed my arms and waited for his decision. After a long, agonizing moment, Kevin finally spoke. Leah, you and Sophia are best friends and you're pregnant. A child can't grow up without a father. Look, the baby? He remembers he has a child? I pulled out the divorce papers I had prepared and slapped them across his face. Your child was already killed by you and Sophia. Just sign it. Sophia pouted at him. What are you waiting for? Sign it. Once you sign, we can finally be together, openly. Kevin gritted his teeth and quickly signed the papers. The live stream chat finally calmed down. I thought she was some goddess of magic. Turns out she's just a homewrecker. But her magic really was amazing. Amazing my ass. You still don't get it? It's Asian black magic. I carefully folded the divorce agreement, a smile of relief spreading across my face. Officer, since Kevin and I are no longer married, I can provide one more piece of evidence. I played a voice recording from my phone. It was a conversation between Kevin and Sophia. The man's voice was clearly Kevin's. This time, I'm buying the sharpest blades and brand new sharpened knives. We're going to kill her for good. The next voice on the recording was Sophia's, but I had deliberately cut the clip to only include Kevin's part. After all, when he said he wanted to kill her, who was to say if he meant Sophia or me? After listening to the recording, the police arrested Kevin on the spot for attempted murder. Sophia and Kevin were left speechless. They had no way of admitting that the her in the conversation was me. Kevin was immediately dragged out of the hospital room and taken to jail. I later heard he was sentenced to 10 years. Sophia, having alienated the entire magic community, was relentlessly cyberbullied by magic fans. People attacked her online and offline day after day. They threw eggs and splashed paint on her front door, and the harassment drove her to a mental breakdown. The last time I saw her was at the airport. She was disheveled and frantic, shouting at passers-by that she could do magic, scaring little kids into tears. As for me, I was boarding a flight to Southeast Asia. It was a beautiful summer, the perfect time to visit the old woman who helped me out and take a nice, long vacation. The end.